So you've just done your biopsy. You've put the biopsy in your little bottle of formalin, and you filled out your requisition form. So we're at the grossing station now. We're going to gross the specimen, meaning we're going to make a gross description, which is going to go on your surgical pathology report. And we always check the label on the biopsy bottle to make sure it matches up with the requisition form, so we know we've got the right specimen. So we take our specimen, we put it on the grossing table, and we do a gross description and a measurement. So we have a single tan soft tissue fragment measuring 2 by 1.5 centimeters. It will be trisected and entirely submitted. So now we take the specimen, we trisect it, we put it in the cassette, we try and orient it, and then we put the cassette in the basket of formalin, right over here. You can see the basket, and this is the basket that's going to go into the processor, and the water in the tissue will be turned into embedded with paraffin. And that will give us the support we need for when we cut the specimen into sections. Okay, we're at the processing machine, and this machine, you can see the cassette is in the basket here, the tissue's in the cassette, and this is the machine that's going to replace the water in the tissue with paraffin. So the whole basket would have a number of cassettes in here, maybe 100 specimens or 100 samples. We're going to open up the machine. The basket's placed in the machine. Now the machine will cycle through. It'll immerse the tissue in a bath of alcohol, varying degrees of alcohol, like 70%, 80%, 90%, and then 100%. And then it'll immerse them in citrusol, which is like a xylene material. And then finally it'll put paraffin in there. And the tissue, all the moisture in the tissue will be replaced with paraffin. So the tissue will be ready for the embedding station, which is what we'll go to next. Okay, now we're at the embedding station. The tissue has just come out of the processor, and all the cassettes are loaded into liquid paraffin here. Our cassette is in the liquid paraffin, and it's kept liquid until we embed the tissue in a little metal well here. So we take the cassette out. These plates are warm to keep the paraffin liquid. And if we open the cassette, we take our piece of tissue and we put it in the little well here. Now we're going to put the cut surface down. If we've got like a fibroma and we've cut through like a cross section through the epithelium down into the connective tissue, we want to put that cut surface down so that we get a nice cross section. So we put the tissue down. This little block here is cold, so the paraffin starts to solidify. And we orient it and embed it down. Now we add a little liquid paraffin. And we put the cassette on top. This is going to form a little holder for our... And this is a cold plate. This is going to help the paraffin solidify quickly. Okay, so Jennifer is our histotechnician, and she's trained to she's on the microtome. She's taken a 4 to 5 micron slice of tissue in the wax. It's not ready. This is the automatic stainer. The slides are loaded into the little basket of Citrosolve here where they're deparaffinized, and then they go through a number of steps where they're rehydrated and they are stained with hematoxylin and eosin. And that's the standard stain for our slides, H&E. It can do a number of other stains, including PAS and GMS, but the robot arm will lift the basket of slides and dip them in each solution so that at the end we have a slide that's stained with H&E. Here you can see a slide that's just come out and it's stained with hematoxylin and eosin, that characteristic blue-pink stain. The next step would be to go to the next machine where the slide will be cover slipped and then it's ready for viewing.
I'm demonstrating the automatic cover slipper. Once the slides have been stained, they are brought to this machine, which will cover slip a slide every 3 seconds. It uses a special film that will adhere with a xylene and it'll work that quickly, much faster than the human hand. So here's a demo of it. First, the rack of slides is placed into the carrier and in a slot. We have to just make sure xylene is dripping on the slide and just press start. The slides will fall into a tray, another rack, and they're ready to be read within a couple of minutes after they dry. Slides are now cover slipped.
The slides just come off the cover slipper, so we're ready to read out the slide and make our diagnosis. So we put it on the microscope. And we have a look. We make our diagnosis. And then we fill out our surgical pathology report. The surgical pathology report is a legal document. It will have the patient's name, the doctor's name, a clinical description of the lesion, a diagnosis, a microscopic description of the lesion, and a gross description, which we dictated at the grossing station. It will have the dates that the specimen was taken and the date that the surgical pathology report was rendered. It will also have CPT codes and ICD-9 codes on it.